In this video, we're going to be talking about how Corpse Husband has actually been cancelled by Twitter. Now, this is a pretty interesting story, so make sure you guys stick around to the end. Also, over 90% of you are not subscribed, so please subscribe to the channel, it really helps. So for you guys who don't actually know, Corpse Husband is a horror YouTuber with over 3 million subscribers on YouTube, which is a pretty high amount. I would also say he's probably one of the most influential horror YouTubers, and he reads out subscribers and horror stories from Reddit and things like that, which is pretty interesting. Now, since he has such a big spotlight, there's a very high chance of him being cancelled by Twitter or things being said about him that are a bit nasty, even though they're probably not true and there's probably a lot of context that's taken out. And I'm not really surprised that a story has come out about him because 3 million subscribers is a lot. Like, that's a very big channel in the scheme of things. Yeah, sure, there's 10 million plus subscriber channels, but 3 million people, that's a damn lot. So I'm not surprised one big controversy has come out about him. Now, in the past, people have actually been cancelled for some rather sketchy things. Like, the other day, people were trying to cancel Charli D'Amelio and her family for cheating in the MrBeast creator games, which, you know, wasn't really something worth being cancelled for. I did make a video on it, but yeah. This is probably no exception for something silly to be cancelled for. Yeah, sure, it's something that could be subjectively considered as a bad thing, but I don't think it's ever worth being cancelled for. Now, if you guys are actually wondering, what are people trying to cancel Corpse Husband for? What are people trying to cancel this respectable, large, amazing YouTuber that you're talking about? Well, it's a very interesting story, actually. People are getting very cranky because he used homophobic slurs in a video from years ago. Now, this wasn't even a homophobic slur that I even knew about before this video was made. I don't even know the full meaning of this word, but apparently it does have a strong meaning. So if you guys are wondering which word he actually used, he used the D slur, which obviously I'm not actually going to show the clip of it or say it because there's a very high chance that YouTube demonetization bots will probably flag down this video if I say that. But essentially, a lot of people are not very happy about this. Now, he actually put out a thing on Twitter about this, so let's actually see the clip.
Hey, wanted to address this whenever I did the Q&A live stream so I could better explain it on a bigger platform live, but I woke up to a ton of DMs from people and I thought I should do it right away. For those of you who don't know, primarily I've done true horror story narration for years on my channel. The stories are sent in by my viewers, they write all of it, and I narrate their story to share their experience of what they've gone through with the world. These are real life experiences of, like, real shit that people go through. About a year ago, I was sent in a story from someone who's trans. I was glad to cover this story despite some backlash I might get from, like, boomers and shit, because I wanted to show the struggles of what trans people go through, and I support trans people. TLDR, the story is about an old Christian woman who is trying to hurt them and do horrible things to them. During the story, the person who is trans is called the D word. In the video, I read the word out loud, and I realize now I shouldn't have done that. I didn't realize the severity of the word, or else I obviously wouldn't have said it. There are over 2,000 comments on the video and none of them mention it. I had no idea this hurt anybody at all. And that's the last thing I want to do. I've taken the video down now. I understand my mistake and I'm sorry. Thank you to the people trying to teach me about this. Some people were just blindly hating me, but most of the people I've seen have been very reasonable. And I really appreciate that. I'm probably going to get off everything for a little bit. Thank you.
Now, this is something that I don't really think he deserves to be cancelled for. It's not something really that bad. Like, yeah, sure, it's a homophobic slur, and it could be seen as potentially inappropriate or offensive to people, but in my opinion, this is not something worth being cancelled for. Like, he would have learnt the lesson if he's apologizing now, and it happened years ago. Like, why are you bringing up clips that were actually years ago? Also, the thing he was doing was actually reading directly from a subscriber's story that they sent to him. So he was not saying this in a derogatory sense, he was not saying it in a bad sense, he was just reading what he was given by his viewer. Now, I do not have any problem with people reading this out and there being homophobic slurs in it, or anything. It's only if someone takes it in the wrong context and says it in the wrong way. That's when it's completely inappropriate. That's what I'm saying. He was just reading something that he was sent by a subscriber. Why is he in trouble for this? Why are people trying to cancel him? This is a pretty dumb thing for anyone to be cancelled for. But someone reading a horror story and being given just basically backlash years later for it. Years later, that's what I'm saying. That just makes zero sense to me. Why would people bring it up so late? Most people don't even know that this slur exists. considering the fact that it's a pretty rare slur to really be said, and the fact that most people don't even know what it is, really just brings to light that it's not a word that's being commonly used or anything, and he wasn't saying it in the wrong context, so why are people getting so mad over this? Like, most people wouldn't even know what it means, and now a lot of the people are just jumping on the bandwagon. Now, I'm sure there's some people who actually genuinely knew what it meant, but it's not something worth being cancelled for. You shouldn't even be going after him for it now. It shouldn't even be brung up. It was so long ago. Like, it's safe to assume that if he at the time didn't know that he shouldn't say this, he's not going to go ahead and say it now. Like, he's learnt the lesson. It would be guaranteed that he would have learnt, because at the time he wouldn't have known, but now there's a pretty solid chance that he's not going to go and say that kind of thing again. He would do his research. Like, this was years ago. Who actually wouldn't say that on YouTube years ago? Like, people weren't being cancelled or demonetized or anything like that for saying words back then. They weren't being censored, and YouTube was a very different landscape back when he made this kind of video. And I'm going to be honest, if I was back then, I probably would have said things similar to that, and I would be apologizing for this kind of thing. Well, I wouldn't really apologize for it. I would probably just say, well, it happened back then. It's a thing that had changed over time, and I would not say that kind of thing now. Because it's not really worth being apologized for. It's really just not a situation that's the person's fault anyway, because, to be honest, this guy doesn't deserve to be cancelled in any way, shape, or form. By no stretch of the imagination. Like, he's done absolutely nothing wrong if you think about it. He didn't say it in the wrong context, and even now, I wouldn't really get cranky for anyone saying it if they were just reading a subscriber's story. Like, it's not going to do anything bad, really. No one's going to really whine about it apart from the few people on Twitter, in which case you can really just ignore them, ignore any videos they make about it, and it'll just go away, because it's a stupidity thing. Like, they shouldn't be cancelled for this. No one should be cancelled for anything like this. Let's be honest, it's just Twitter doing its dumb thing. But in conclusion, this was really just a dumb kind of situation that didn't really need to happen, and I think that Corp's husband should have handled it a lot better. I think that his fans are being insanely pedantic for coming up with this situation, just for a reason to cause some drama, you know? But I'm not really going to complain, because I got a video about it. Anyways, if you guys really enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like in the video, subscribe to my channel, click on that notification bell, because if you subscribe without that, you won't actually know when I upload. Also, comment down below what you actually thought about this video, because I really like feedback from my viewers, and it really helps me out to improve. Anyways, peace out.